Hey YouTube, first off, yeah, there's a hole in my roof. We had a windstorm come and take the damn thing out, so they don't have them in stores, and I got to order one online. So, anyhow, this video is gonna be a little different. I actually got asked a question, one of my comments about how I get things so shiny, if I use a sandblaster or what. And honestly, it's a pretty good question. So this video is just gonna be basically showing how I get all my parts shiny. I do not use a sandblaster. I try and keep everything in my videos basic so a beginner can do them. I like to keep my things beginner. I know a lot of the parts I use you got to get in transmission, or some of them I know have been from a crane, but you can really use any gear to do them. So I'm going to start with a simple hammer handle here, or hammer head, sorry, and we'll clean that up, or just clean one side of it up so you can see the basics. Alright, so first things first, let's go over our weapons of mass destruction here. First, we got our little 4-inch grinder. Since I'm a construction worker, always have been, I just always refer to it as a peanut grinder. It's a little 4.5-inch. Of course, I use a DeWalt. Why, I don't know. It's just the one that I picked up this time. I typically burn up 1 or 2 of these a year. You'd really think I'd pick up that little extra insurance thing you buy when you pay for them, but I don't. I'm just weird that way. So anyhow, this is my main go-to tool when I'm working out here in the garage. I use this for everything. I use this for cleaning up the rust. I use this for cutting most things instead of my torch. I use this for literally everything on most of these projects you see. This is going to be one of the next projects. So a subscriber asked me to build a little snake out of a shovel head. I forgot to look up your name, and I can't remember it off the top of my head, but it's actually have a good time talking with you in chat that day. But anyhow, or in comments. But so anyway, all this crud sitting on here, you know, I'll put on the wire wheel. We'll clean this up with the grinder. So everything's done with my grinder. This wheel I was cleaned up what was under the engine. So grinder is my number 1 tool. The Dremel with the attachment would be my number 2 for cleaning up the rust and stuff. When I'm using it for like a gear, I've got one right here. This one I've got half cleaned up. So these little bits here, and honestly, these ones I picked up at Harbor Freight. They are nowhere near as good as the actual Dremel bits. They just last longer. You do pay for what you get when it comes to the bits itself. Now, I know for a while I was saying that non-brand Dremel was doing great, and it lasted for quite a while, but they didn't have it at the store when I burned it up. So I end up with an actual Dremel this time. It's holding up so far, but the last one only lasted me about 6 months, so we'll see how it does. But the bits itself, I do buy the Dremel bits, or tips, or whatever you want to call them. The wire brush and the brass brush, they do a great job cleaning stuff up, and that's what you'll use in between here where the wire wheels actually will not fit. Flap discs. For making a clock face, these will really bring and shine things up. They come in different grits, just like any other sandpaper. This is an 80 grit. You can get to 120. I'm sure online you can get more than 120, but here locally I can get to 120 grit. Once in a while I'll start with a 60 to really take some stuff down if I want to. Sometimes these make nice little clock faces or different parts. I wouldn't use this as a face anyhow. It's a little too, I'd have to take too much out of that. But you can really work these down, and that's what really brings the shine out. And something like this for a clock face would be the flap disc, quite honestly, is what would really bring the shine out in the metal on that. And if you really want to run the brass over it, not the steel brush bit, whatever you want to call it. So the sandpaper is what really brings the metal to the shine, in my opinion, on that, so far as I've found. But for Portland polishing, like when it comes to motors, these little guys here, the brass ones, will add the extra shine. I just haven't done it on any of my stuff for the clock faces. It'd probably work wonders. Anyway, now I'm kind of spacing. So these are my tools of destruction for when it comes to getting parts nice and shiny before I start a video. And that's literally what I've been doing, is before I start. So we'll go ahead and start with this hammer head, and then we'll move to something else. Maybe. It's probably all I really need to show you for the video. Oh, I didn't use my three-way. There we go. I should put that in a bad place. Let's see what's there. You to see how that just shines right up. Beautiful thing. One of my parts are nice and shiny to make you guys a video with. So anyhow, I know you can just watch that thing shine right up, but yeah, basically that's all I do. It's my go-to tools for making things shiny before I start the video. I hope that helps someone a little bit, maybe. And I know I rambled as usual, but this is how I am. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope I helped someone.